So in this video, I want to talk about the formula for success. So there's a reason I've been in franchising for a lot of my life and the things that I've grown to love about it. One thing I've learned and know about myself is I'm actually quite risk averse, and franchising seems to address that problem as one of its core pillars. So you can actually download a little one-page document in the Resource Center that kind of outlines it, but there's four kind of main things that make franchising desirable and why it's effective, and why it's my preferred way of doing business. Number one is you're following a proven system. So no matter which franchise you look at, whether it's a Tim Hortons or a Starbucks or any franchise really, they kind of figure out a winning system in one region or one city, and they keep testing and they keep testing until they figure out what the actual formula is. And it's typically some generic kind of service or product. And then once they figure out that formula, they duplicate it across various regions, across the country, across multiple countries nationally, right? And that's really what I've done with Colorcraft and what I'm good at and what I know, which is the painting industry. Just because I've been doing it for so long, I've been able to first articulate within myself what is the formula. But then from there, now this whole video training series is like getting it out in a systemized pattern so that we can replicate it as individuals, and people who have no prior experience can come in and the model can be taught and it can be coached upon. So a winning formula is really a huge benefit to franchising. And that's what we have with this industry because it's so generic, it doesn't really change much, this industry. So we can kind of just install the system and then execute it and profit from it. And that's pillar number one. Pillar number two is a coach. So you'd be working directly with me one-on-one, and I'll be working with you to coach you how executing the system, as well as moving through the emotional blocks that prevent people, and myself even through the things that have prevented people from emotionally executing on the system. So a coach is a hugely advantageous thing to have when you're in business. And I don't care whether you're in franchising or you're not in franchising, having a coach to hold accountability and help you execute is massively beneficial. I've personally never not had a coach since I was started in business. So it's hard to imagine what it'd be like not having that guidance. But that's a huge benefit of most franchises, at least well-structured franchises. You have someone directly to report to and receive guidance from. And then number three is a community. Franchising is lonely. Franchising is not lonely, but being in business can be lonely. Entrepreneurship can be lonely. So it's being in business for yourself, but not by yourself. You can actually build out your region and shoot questions off to your fellow franchisees and fellow people on the leadership teams in different cities who are all a lot of the time dealing with similar problems. And then on the other side, it's really nice to have a community of people that you can celebrate wins with and milestones with. So the community goes a long way. Birds of a feather flock together and fly farther when together, and that's a huge another advantage of franchising as well, is everyone's going through the same journey and same battle and challenges and wins. So that's a really cohesive thing that makes the experience a lot nicer. And then the last one's risk reduction, which is kind of where I started this from. Risk reduction in the sense that with those first three pillars, your chances of success in franchising is a lot higher if you get into the right franchise. And Colorcraft, I'm going to explain in another video, but there's a lot of benefits to this industry, which makes it the right franchise and a very low risk industry to be involved with if you want to be very cash flow positive for your life. So those are that's the formula for success. Feel free to print out the one pager, and I'd put it in a binder and just keep it in your van. Honestly, throughout this video course, I actually recommend you print out all of the printouts and just have various binders to categorize the different sections that we'll be dealing with. I find that I like to have physical binders with all this stuff to help me as I've grown. So often when I build a system, I print it out and I put it in the appropriate binder. So feel free to download that, and we'll see you in the next video.